Most hunters have never touched a Mauser, and that ignorance is costing them their shot. You are watching precision-engineered German steel, while everyone else is still playing pretend. 5 rifles, 1 legacy, and 1 name that rewrote the rules of bolt-action hunting before your grandfather was born. This is not a buyer's guide. This is a reckoning. The top 5 Mauser hunting rifles of 2026. Ranked and dissected, no fluff, no fanboy nonsense. Coming in at number 5, we have a rifle that should not even exist anymore. Mauser pulled the plug on the 03 back in August of 2020. Shut down the entire production line. Said it was too expensive to keep running. And you know what happened? The used market went absolutely feral. Because here is the thing about the M03. You cannot kill it. This is the rifle that lets you swap from a white-tailed deer cartridge all the way up to an elephant stopper on the same chassis. Pull the barrel, swap the bolt head, drop in a different magazine, done. You are now running a completely different chambering without buying a new rifle. That kind of modularity does not just save money. It rewrites the entire logic of what a hunting rifle can be. Under the hood, the M03 runs a manual cocking system that is genuinely brilliant. The striker spring stays completely unloaded while you are hiking through thick brush. No compressed energy, no accidental discharge risk. Only when you manually cock the mechanism, right before the shot, does the system come alive. For close quarters driven hunts through dense timber, that is not just a feature, that is a philosophy. The variants hunters are hunting down right now include the Alpine with its hogback stock and Ebony foreign tip, the Africa edition with its oversized barrel and built-in kickstop recoil reduction system buried inside the stock, and the Oaks, a hand-engraved collector piece with silver and gold oak leaf inlay work that belongs in a vault as much as a blind. Here is the deal breaker, and it is a real one. These rifles are no longer made, period. Finding one in clean condition means paying a serious collector premium on the used market. We are talking prices that have climbed well past original MSRP on many examples. If it breaks, parts sourcing is a genuine headache. You are betting on a discontinued platform, and that bet gets riskier every year. But for the hunter who wants a single receiver that does everything and wants it built to a standard that makes modern rifles look apologetic, the M03 is still a unicorn worth chasing. This is solid, but wait until you see the monster sitting at number 1. I know the purists are going to absolutely lose their minds over this ranking. Sound off below if you think the M12 deserves to be higher. Let the debate begin. Stepping up the game now. Rank 4 belongs to a rifle that sits in the dead center of the Mauser lineup and earns every dollar of that position. The M12 is what happens when German engineers refuse to cut corners on a mid-range platform. Push-feed action, 6 locking lugs arranged in 2 rows of 3, all engaging directly into a barrel extension rather than the receiver itself. That distinction matters more than most people realize. By offloading the locking forces onto the barrel extension, Mauser was able to shrink the bolt body diameter and deliver a 60-degree throw, so smooth and short it feels like a precision instrument rather than a hunting tool. No wobble, no grit, just a bolt that cycles like it is riding on glass. That 6-lug geometry is the mechanic's insight here. More locking surface means the load of ignition pressure gets distributed across a wider contact area. The result is a receiver that can handle consistent chamber pressures across thousands of rounds without developing the microflex that ruins long-term accuracy on cheaper designs. This is why the M12's trigger, breaking somewhere around 1 pound 7 ounces in real-world testing, feels like a competition trigger rather than a hunting trigger. The action is so tight there is simply no mechanical slop left to disrupt the pull. The DWM variant is where the M12 becomes a cultural artifact. Grade 6 walnut with an ebony foreign tip. Plasma nitrided hardware across every external component. Bolt handle, scope base, trigger guard, sling swivels, all hand polished by the Craftsman at Mauser Meisterwerkstatt, a jeweled bolt body. The original Deutsche Waffen und Munitionsfabrik logo engraved on the receiver and the magazine floor plate. This is a rifle you pass down. Street price climbs from $1,500 on the base models all the way past $4,000 on the top shelf wood grades, and the DWM specimens push beyond that without apology. Now, the deal breaker, the wide loading breech on the M12, designed so you can top load individual rounds without dropping the magazine, is genuinely clever in the field. But that same wide port creates a dust and debris ingestion risk in truly filthy conditions. Hunters running the M12 through muddy swamp bottoms or blowing desert sand need to be diligent about covers and cleaning. It is not a problem that breaks the rifle. It is a quirk that demands respect. Sets you back between $1,500 and $2,500 for most configurations. Worth every cent for a hunter who values handcraft over hype. Entering the elite tier now. And this one is going to surprise some of you. Number 3 on this list is not some $4,000 showpiece. It is a rifle that starts under $700 and then proceeds to shoot sub-MOA groups that embarrass rifles costing 3 times as much. The Mauser 18 is the most dangerous kind of product in any industry. It is the value play that makes the premium options nervous. The engineering secret behind the M18 is something Mauser calls the circle of concentricity. They built a full-diameter bolt body, meaning the bolt shank and the 3 integral locking lugs share the same outer diameter. That geometry lets the entire bolt slide inside a cylindrical receiver without any machined guide rails. No extra milling operations. No complex rail tolerances to maintain. The result is a receiver that is both cheaper to produce and dimensionally truer than most designs, costing twice as much. 3 locking lugs delivering a 60-degree bolt throw, a large spherical bolt knob that clears any scope tube without snagging, and a burnished black matte finish that eats field abuse without complaint. That is the mechanic's insight right there. By eliminating the machining complexity of guide rails, Mauser actually improved concentricity, the alignment between the bolt axis and the barrel axis, rather than degrading it. Better concentricity means the cartridge seats more consistently on every single cycle. More consistent seating means tighter standard deviation on velocity. Tighter velocity deviation means smaller groups at distance. A field and stream evaluation of the Savannah variant in 6.5 Creedmoor produced 5-shot groups smaller than 7/10 of an inch on a sub-$900 rifle. Let that sink in for a moment. The ecosystem of variants is almost overwhelming. The Savannah brings a chocolate polymer stock with soft grip rubber inlays and a threaded muzzle ready for a suppressor straight from the factory. The wall jagged, meaning forest hunting, runs a short 51-centimeter barrel with a thick 19-millimeter profile and fiber optic express. Sights for snap shooting in tight timber. The Fenris pairs the M18 action with a fully adjustable GRS chassis stock for long-range precision, work with cheek piece, and length of pull adjustment built in. The damage to your wallet starts at $699 and climbs to $849, depending on the variant. Here is the deal breaker, and it is purely ergonomic. The trigger on most production M18 examples breaks between 3.2 and 3.5 pounds. Acceptable for a hunting trigger, but noticeably heavier than the M12's near competition pull weight. For hunters running this rifle at extended ranges past 300 yards, that extra trigger weight demands more disciplined technique to avoid disturbing the shot. It is not a flaw that kills accuracy. It is a limitation that separates disciplined shooters from casual ones. 10-year warranty, sub-MOA guarantee on 5 consecutive shots, under $850. The M18 is not just a budget rifle, it is an argument. Closer to the crown now, and this one carries the weight of history on every single component. Look, there is a reason every serious bolt-action rifle made in the last 128 years traces its DNA back to the Mauser M98 action. Paul Mauser did not just design a rifle in 1898. He solved bolt-action mechanics so completely that the entire industry spent the next century trying to imitate what he built. The M98 DOS Original is the civilian resurrection of that solution. And in 2026, Mauser has dressed it in a level of luxury that makes the original Carabiner 98K look like a rough draft. The mechanical heart of this rifle is the controlled round feed system, and no amount of modern push-feed engineering has ever genuinely replicated what it does. The moment a cartridge exits the magazine, a massive non-rotating claw extractor reaches out and clamps onto the case rim. Not after the round chambers, not when the bolt closes. Immediately, from that instant forward, the round is physically captured and controlled by the extractor through the entire chambering cycle. Tip the rifle upside down, roll it sideways, crank the bolt while lying in a mud pit at a 45-degree angle. That round is not going anywhere. It feeds, it chambers, and it extracts every single time, regardless of orientation or operator panic. That is the mechanic's insight. The claw extractor on the M98 is not just a reliability feature, it is a physics solution. By maintaining positive mechanical control of the cartridge throughout the entire feed cycle, the system eliminates the single most common failure mode in bolt-action rifles. The round that cams off the feed lips and nosedives into the receiver during a rushed follow-up shot. On dangerous game in thick African bush, that failure mode is not an inconvenience, it is a fatality. In 2026, Mauser elevated the DOS Original to a level that blurs the line between hunting rifle and heirloom object. Diamond-like carbon coating across every bolt surface, a treatment so hard it borders on scratch-proof, a gold-plated trigger, hand-selected grade 5 walnut, finished by rubbing oil into the wood grain by hand rather than spraying lacquer. And for the first time in the platform's history, Mauser chambered the DOS Original in 300 Winchester Magnum alongside the classic Safari. Rounds, 375 H&H and 416 Rigby. The entry-level DOS Original sets you back $12,000. The Magnum variants with their red Safari recoil pad climb to $14,500. Then there is the Big Five Magnum collection, engraved by master artist Silke Ulrich using the Bellino technique. Needlepoint stippling so fine it renders photographic detail in steel, depicting all 5 of Africa's most dangerous animals across the floor plate and receiver. The pistol grip cap inlaid with a map of the African continent in gold and platinum. Grade 10 root wood on the stock. The damage to your wallet on that particular masterpiece approaches $40,000. It is not a hunting tool at that point. It is a dynasty in rifle form. The deal breaker here is purely financial. The finish on the DOS Original, while extraordinarily beautiful, shows handling marks faster than a working rifle should. Hunters who actually intend to drag this through thorn bush and river crossings will find themselves wincing every time the stock contacts hard cover. This is a rifle that demands a degree of emotional detachment its price tag makes nearly impossible to achieve. But for the collector who hunts, or the hunter who collects, nothing else on this list carries this combination of mechanical integrity and historical gravitas. Here it is, the throne. And before the traditionalists start typing, yes, a straight pull action just dethroned the controlled feed legend. Yes, A rifle that launched in 2025 just outranked a platform with 128 years of battlefield pedigree. And no, this is not a close call. The Mauser 25 does not just improve on the rifles below it on this list. It redefines the category entirely. Start with the spread lock 250 system, because this is where the M25 separates itself from every other straight pull design on the market. Forget the radial collet system on the Blazer R8. Forget the 6 expanding steel balls on the Savage Impulse. Forget the rotating multi-lug designs on the Merkel Helix and the Browning Morale. The M25 uses a central wedge that drives 2 massive locking cams outward into receiver recesses at the barrel extension. Total lock angle, 250 degrees. Locking surface contact area, 66 square millimeters. Compare that directly to the 59 square millimeters on the Mauser M98's legendary claw extractor system, the rifle sitting at number 2 on this list. The M25 does not just match the 98's mechanical safety margin, it exceeds it. That is the mechanic's insight, and it is a profound one. By achieving greater locking surface area than the M98 while simultaneously eliminating the rotational bolt movement, Mauser engineered a system that is both faster and stronger than the platform it is meant to succeed. 250 degrees of contact distributed across a barrel extension means chamber pressure forces are absorbed over a wider surface than any conventional rotating bolt design can achieve at comparable size. The physics here are not marketing language, they are geometry. Now here is where the M25 pulls even further ahead. The firing mechanism eliminates the striker spring entirely. Gone instead, a featherweight single-action hammer, cocked automatically when the bolt opens, drives an independent firing pin, because the operator is no longer fighting a compressed striker spring during that initial rearward pull. The bolt cycles with a smoothness that feels almost frictionless the instant the cams disengage. Every other straight pull on the market asks you to overcome spring resistance on the opening stroke. The M25 does not. That difference is small in description and enormous in execution, especially on a cold morning stand when your hands are stiff and a second shot. Opportunity is closing fast. The chassis is a milled alloy frame integrated directly inside the stock, guiding the bolt along precision rails while the barrel extension handles all pressure bearing. The cold hammer forged barrel runs 51 centimeters, 17 millimeters in diameter, plasma oxidized with a surface treatment that requires no toxic chemicals and shrugs off corrosion without a second thought. The ejection system strips away every unnecessary component. 2 spring-loaded studs integrated directly into the bolt face handle extraction with mechanical simplicity that laughs at the complex spring and pin assemblies on competing designs. In real-world accuracy testing with Gecko 146 grain sport ammunition, the M25 printed a group of 13 millimeters at 100 meters with the trigger set at 880 grams. That is just over half an inch on a production hunting rifle with factory ammunition. The trigger itself adjusts without tools from 700 grams all the way to 1,700 grams. A range that covers everything from precision mountain stalking to driven bore shooting in thick cover. The variant lineup covers every hunting scenario without requiring a second mortgage. The extreme and high-strength black or green polymer runs 1,699 euros. The pure and natural walnut, carrying that unmistakable old-world Mauser soul inside a thoroughly modern action, sits between 1,799 and 1,852 euros. The Max and Thumbhole laminate beech, tuned for maximum stability on the bench and in the field, tops out at 1,899 euros. Every single variant is available in left-handed configuration at no additional cost, a detail that reveals just how thoroughly Mauser thought through this platform. The magazine system runs a 3+1 polymer single stack as standard, with a 5+1 option, available specifically for driven borer hunters who need the extra capacity. The two-position safety locks the firing pin directly, and a tip-to-open function lets you unload the chamber even with the safety engaged. No drama, no fumbling, just a system designed by people who actually hunt. Here is the honest deal breaker, because even the #1 rifle on this list has one. The M25's alloy chassis inside stock construction, while brilliantly engineered, makes aftermarket stock customization essentially impossible compared to the M18 or M12. What Mauser built is what you get. For most hunters, that is completely irrelevant. For the segment of the market that wants to swap chassis, adjust length of pull with spacers, or run a custom thumbhole stock, the M25 closes that door firmly. But that is the only door it closes. Every other door, speed, strength, accuracy, ambidextrous design, field reliability, and a price point that undercuts the M98 DOS Original by more than $10,000, while outperforming it mechanically in 3 out of 4 measurable categories, swings wide open. The M25 gives you the rugged, controlled feed philosophy of the M98 in a faster package. It delivers the modular thinking of the M03 without the discontinued platform anxiety. It beats the M12's accuracy at a comparable price point, and it does all of that while operating a bolt cycle so smooth it redefines what a hunting rifle is supposed to feel like in your hands. That is why it sits at #1. Not nostalgia, not hype, geometry, metallurgy, and 20 rounds downrange. That is 5 rifles. 5 reasons the name Mauser still makes every other bolt-action manufacturer check their work twice. From the modular ghost of the 03 still haunting the used market, to the Craftsman's precision of the M12, to the people's rifle that shoots like a champion in the M18, to the controlled feed dynasty of the 98 DOS Original, and straight to the top, where the M25 rewrote the rulebook with 250 degrees of locking geometry and a bolt cycle smoother than anything this side of a bench rest competition gun. German engineering does not chase trends, it sets them, and in 2026, Mauser is setting the pace for every bolt-action manufacturer on the planet. If this breakdown changed how you look at hunting rifles, drop it in the comments. If you think a different Mauser deserves a spot on this list, sound off. And if you are still running a push-feed action from a brand that shall not be named, you know what to do. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.